see if you got anyone to jump on today. We're doing a reading of Jasher, y'all. This is Jasher. We're in chapter 22. I'm going to read 22 and 23. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I'm going to pray a little prayer before we start here. Heavenly Father, I'd like to thank you for this time that we have, Lord. I pray that you watch over us and protect us, Lord, as we go about our days. Lord, fill us with the Spirit. Let your words come through to those that need to hear it in the way that they need to hear it, Lord. Let the story of Jasher come alive to them, Lord. Let them see it the way that you need to see it, to come alive to their hearts for remembrance, Lord, to hear words in the message that they need to hear, Lord. I pray in your mighty chest, Lord, that any needs that need being met, Lord, that whether it be healing, spiritual, emotional, whatever it is, Lord, over their mind, their souls, Lord, that you do the things that they need done. As they watch this video, Lord, let them enjoy the word and let your Spirit speak to them, Lord, in the mighty Jesus. Alright, so I'm going to jump right in. I know it's been a minute, but it's also been a minute since I've been outside in the really nice weather. And Ishmael rose up and took his wife and his children and his cattle and all belonging to him, and he journeyed from there. And he went to his father in the land of the Philistines. And Abraham related his son Ishmael to a transaction with the first wife that Ishmael took according to what she did. And Ishmael and his children dwelt with Abraham many days in the land. And Abraham dwelt in the land of the Philistines a long time. And the days increased and reached 26 years. After that, Abraham, with his servants and all belonging to him, went from the land of the Philistines and removed to a great distance, and they came near to Hebron, and they remained there. And the servants of Abraham dug wells of water, and Abraham and all his belongings to him dwelt by the water. And the servants of Abimelech, Abraham's servants, had dug wells of water. Servants of Abimelech, that's the ones a couple chapters back, that's when the king gave Abraham his servants. So the servants of Abimelech, king of Philistines, heard the report that Abraham's servants had dug wells of water in the borders of the land. And they came quarreled with the servants of Abraham, and they robbed them of the great well which they had dug. And Abimelech, king of Philistines, heard of this affair, and he with Philpol, the captain of his host, and 20 of his men came to Abraham, and Abimelech spoke to Abraham concerning the servants. And Abraham rebuked Abimelech concerning the well of which his servants had robbed him. And Abimelech said to Abraham, as the Lord lives, who created the whole earth, I did not hear of the act which my servants did to your servants until this day. And Abraham took 7 ewe lambs and gave them to Abimelech, saying, please, take these from my hands, that it may be a testimony for me that I dug this well. And Abimelech took the 7 ewe lambs which Abraham had given to him, for he had also given him cattle and herbs in abundance. And Abimelech swore to Abraham concerning the well. Therefore he called that well Beersheba, for there they swore concerning it. And they both made a covenant in Beersheba. And Abimelech rose up with Philpol, the captain of his host, and all his men, and they returned to the land of the Philistines. And Abraham and all belonging to him dwelt in Beersheba. And he was in the land a long time. And Abraham planted a long grove in Beersheba, and he made 4 gates to it facing the 4 sides of the earth. And he planted a vineyard in it, so that if a traveler came to Abraham, he entered any gate which was at his road, and remained there, and departed. For the house of Abraham was always open to the sons of men that passed him and repassed, who came daily to eat and drink in the house of Abraham. And any man who had hunger and came to Abraham's house, Abraham would give him bread, that he might eat and drink, and be satisfied. And be anyone that came naked to his house, he would clothe with garments, and he might choose and give him silver and gold, and make known to him the Lord, who had created him in the earth. Abraham did this all his life. And Abraham and his children, all belonging to him, dwelt in Beersheba, and he pitched his tent as far as Hebron. And Abraham's brother Nahor, and his father, all belonging to them, dwelt in Haran, for they did not come with Abraham to the land of Canaan. And children were born to Nahor, which Milcah, the daughter of Haran, and sister to Sarah, Abraham's wife, bore to him. And these are the names of those who were born to him: Uz, Buz, Kimal, Kes, Shazo, Hildash, Tidlaf, and Bethuel. Being 8 sons, there are the children of Milcah, which she bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And Nahor had a concubine, and her name was Reumah, and she also bore to Nahor Zebach, Gakash, Takash, and Makkah, being 4 sons. And the children that were born to Nahor were 12 sons besides his daughters, and they also had children born to them in Haran. And the children of Uz, the firstborn of Nahor, were Abi, Shreph, Gadin, Melas, and their sister Deborah. And the sons of Buz were Baruchal, Namath, Sheva, and Madanu. And the sons of Kimal were Aram and Rekah. And the sons of Kesed were Amalek, Mishai, Benan, and Yiphi. And the sons of Chazo were Pildash, Meki, and Ophir. And the sons of Pildash were Arud, Chaman, Merid, and Moloch. And the sons of Tildaf were Musham, Cushan, and Mutzi. And the children of Bethuel were Secher, Laban, and their sister Rebekah. There are families of the children of Nahor that were born to them in Haran, and Aram, the son of Kemuel, and his brother Rechab went away from Haran, and they found a valley in the land of the river Euphrates, and they built a city there. And they called the name of the city after Pether, the son of Aram, and that is Aram Naharaim to this day. And the children of Kesed also went to dwell where they could find a place. And they went and they found a valley opposite to the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there, and they built themselves a city where they called the name of the city Kesed, after the name of their father, that is the land of Kasdim, to this day. And the Kasdim dwelt in exceedingly. And Terah, father of Nahor, and her name was Kelilah, and she conceived and bore him a son, and he called his son Zobah. And Terah lived 25 years after he begot Zobah. And Terah died in that year, that is in the 35th year of the birth of Isaac, son of Abraham. And in the days of Terah were 205 years, and was buried in Haran. And Zobah, the son of Terah, lived 30 years and begot Aram, Alquas, and Merah. And Aram, son of Zobah, son of Terah, had 3 wives, and he begot 12 sons and 3 daughters. Sorry, y'all. I live close to the river. And the Lord gave riches and possessions, and the abundance of cattle and flocks and earth to Aram the son of Zobah, and the man increased greatly. And Aram the son of Zobah and his brother and all his household journeyed from Aram. They went to dwell where they should find a place, for their property was too great to remain in Haram, for they could not stop in Haram together with their brothers. The children of Nahor and Aram the son of Zobah went with his brothers, and they found a valley at the distance towards the eastern country, and they dwelt there, and they also built the city there, and they called the name of Aram, after the name of their eldest brother, that is Aram Zobah, to this day. And Isaac the son of Abraham was growing up in those days, and his father Abraham taught him the way of the Lord to know the Lord. And the Lord was with him. And when Isaac was 37 years old, his brother Ishmael was going around with him in the tent. And Ishmael boasted of himself to Isaac, saying, I was 13 years old when the Lord spoke to my father to circumcise us. And I did according to the word of the Lord, which he spoke to my father. And I gave my soul to the Lord. I did not transgress his word, which he commanded my father. And Isaac answered Ishmael, saying, Why do you boast to me about this? About a little bit of your flesh which you took from your body, concerning which the Father commanded you. As the Lord lives, the God of my father Abraham, if the Lord should say to my father, Now take your son Isaac and bring him up as an offering before me, I would not refrain, but I would joyfully accede to it. And the Lord heard the word that Isaac spoke to Ishmael, and it seemed good in the sight of the Lord. He thought to try Abraham in this matter. On the day arrived the sons of God, and came and placed themselves before the Lord. And Satan also came with the sons of God before the Lord. And the Lord said to Satan, From where do you come? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro the earth, from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said to Satan, What is your word to me concerning all the children of the earth? And Satan answered the Lord and said, I have seen all the children of the earth who serve you. And remember you when they require anything from you. They remember him. In other words, they remember God when they remember God, is when they need something, is what he's saying. And when you give them the thing which require from you, they sit at their ease and forsake you, no longer remember you. For have you seen Abraham the son of Terah, who is at first had no children, and he served you and erected altars to you wherever he came, and he brought up the offerings on them, and he proclaimed your name continually to the children of the earth. And now his son Isaac is born to him. He has forsaken you. He has made a great feast for all the inhabitants of the land, and he has forgotten the Lord. For amidst all that he has done, he brought you no offering, neither burnt offering nor peace offering, neither ox, lamb, nor goat, of all that he killed on the day that his son was weaned, even from the time of his son's birth until now, being 36 years. He built no altar before you, nor brought any offering to you. And for he saw that he gave what he requested before you, and therefore he forsook you. And the Lord said to Satan, Have you thus considered my servant Abraham? For there is none like him on earth, a perfect and upright man before me, one that fears God and avoids evil. As I live, were I to say to him, Bring up your son Isaac before me, he would not withhold him from me. Much more if I told him to bring up a burnt offering before me from his flock or herds. Satan answered the Lord and said, Then speak to Abraham now, as you have said, and you will see whether he will not transgress and cast aside your words this day. It's almost like a Job situation, what Satan did to Job. At the time of the word of the Lord came to Abraham, and he said to him, I'm on chapter 23. And at the time of the word of the Lord came to Abraham, and he said to him, Abraham, he said. Here I am, he said to him. Now take your son, your only son, whom you love, even Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering on one of the mountains which will be shown to you. For there you will see a cloud of glory of the Lord. And Abraham said within himself, how will I separate my son Isaac from his mother Sarah, in ordering to bring him up for a burnt offering before the Lord? And Abraham came into the tent and sat before his wife Sarah, and he spoke these words to her. My son Isaac has grown up. He has not for some time studied the service of his God. Now tomorrow I will go and bring him to Shem and his son Eber, and there we will learn the ways of the Lord, for they will teach him to know the Lord, as well as to know when he prays continually before the Lord. He will answer him. Before there, he will know the way of serving the Lord his God. Sarah said, you have spoken well. Go, my Lord, and do it to him as you have said. But do not remove him at a great distance from me, neither let him remain there too long. For my soul is bound within his soul. Abraham said to Sarah, my daughter, let us pray to the Lord God, that he may do good with us. And Sarah took her son Isaac, and he remained all night with her, and she kissed and embraced and gave him instructions until morning. And she said to him, O my son, how can my soul separate itself from you? And she still kissed him and embraced him. She gave Abraham instructions concerning him, and Sarah said to Abraham, O my Lord, please take heed of your son, and place your eyes over him, for I have no other son nor daughter but him. Oh, do not forsake him. If he is hungry, give him bread. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. Do not let him go on foot, neither let him sit in the sun, neither let him go by himself on the road, neither force him from whatever he may desire, but do to him as he may say to you. Almost like every mom. A protective mom. And Sarah wept bitterly the whole night on account of Isaac, and she gave him instructions until morning. And in the morning Sarah selected a few very fine and beautiful garments from those garments which she had in the house that Abimelech had given her. And she dressed her son Isaac with it, and she put on a turban on his head, and she enclosed a precious stone in the top of the turban, and she gave them the provision of the road. And they went out, and Isaac went with his father Abraham. Some of their servants accompanied them to see off the road, and Sarah went out with them. She accompanied them on the road to see them off, and they said to her, Return to the tent. And when Sarah heard the words of her son Isaac, she wept bitterly, and her husband Abraham wept with her, and their son went with them for a great weeping. Also those who went with them wept greatly. And Sarah caught hold of her son Isaac, and she held him in her arms. She embraced him, continued to weep with him, and said, Who knows if after this day I will ever see you again? And they still wept together. Abraham, Sarah, and Isaac, and all those that accompanied them on the road, wept with them. And afterward Sarah turned away from her son, weeping bitterly, and all her men servants and maidservants returned with her to the tent. And Abraham went with his son Isaac to bring him up as an offering before the Lord, as he had commanded him. Abraham took 2 of his young men with him, Ishmael the son of Hagar, and his servant Eliezer. And they went together with them. And while they were walking in the road, the young men spoke these words to themselves. And Ishmael said to Eliezer, Now my father Abraham is going with Isaac to bring him up for a burnt offering to the Lord, he commanded him. Now when he returns, he will give all that possesses to me, to inherit after him, for I am the firstborn. And Eliezer answered Ishmael and said, Surely Abraham cast you away with your mother, and swore that you would not inherit anything of his possesses. And to whom will he give all that he has, with all his treasures, but to me his servant? who has been faithful in his house, who has served him night and day, who has done all that he desired. To me he will bequeath at his death all that he possesses. And while Abraham was proceeding with his son Isaac along the road, Satan came and appeared to Abraham in a figure of a very aged man, humbled and contrite in spirit. And he approached Abraham and said to him, Are you silly or brutish, that you go this day to do this thing to your only son? For God gave you his son in the latter days, in your old age, and will you go and slaughter him this day because he committed no violence? And will you cause the soul of your only son perish from the earth? Do you not know and understand that this thing cannot be from the Lord? For the Lord cannot do to man such evil on earth. Say to him, Go slaughter your children. Abraham heard this and knew it was the word of Satan, who endeavored to draw him aside from the way of the Lord. But Abraham would not listen to the voice of Satan, and Abraham rebuked him, so that he went away. And Satan returned and came to Isaac. He appeared to Isaac in a figure of a man, handsome and well-favored. And he approached Isaac and said to him, Do you not know and understand that your old silly father brings you to slaughter this day for no reason? No. Now therefore, my son, do not listen or attend to him, for he is a silly old man, and do not let your precious soul and beautiful figure be lost from the earth. And Isaac heard this and said, Abraham, have you heard my father, that which this man has spoken? Even thus he has spoken. Abraham answered his son Isaac and said to him, Take heed of him, do not listen to his words, nor attend to him, for he is Satan, endeavoring to draw us aside from the commands of God on this day. And Abraham still rebuked Satan, and Satan went from them, and seeing he could not prevail over them, he hid himself from them. He went and passed before them in the road. He transformed himself into a large brook of water in the road. And Abraham and Isaac and his 2 young men reached the place, and they saw a brook as large and powerful as the mighty waters. And they entered the brook and passed through it, and the waters first reached their legs. They went deeper in the brook, and the waters reached up to their necks, and they all were terrified on account of the water. And while they were going over the brook, Abraham recognized the place, and he knew that there was no water there before. And Abraham said to his son Isaac, I know this place in which there was no brook, no water. Now therefore it is this Satan, who does all of this to us, to draw us aside from the commands of God this day. Abraham rebuked him and said to him, The Lord rebuke you, O Satan, go away from us, for we go by commands of God. And Satan was terrified by the voice of Abraham. He went away from them, and the place again became dry land as it was at first. And Abraham went with Isaac towards the place of God had told him. On the 3rd day Abraham lifted his eyes and saw the place at a distance which God had told him of. And a pillar of fire appeared to him and reached the earth to the heavens, and a cloud of glory on the mountain, and the glory of the Lord was seen in the cloud. And Abraham said to Isaac, My son, do you see that? I see on it. And Isaac answered and said to his father, I see, and behold, the pillar of fire and the cloud. And the glory of the Lord is seen on the cloud. And Abraham knew that his son Isaac was accepted before the Lord for a burnt offering. Abraham said to Eliezer and to his son Ishmael, Do you also see which we see on the mountain, which is in the distance? And they answered and said, We see nothing more than that, like the other mountains of the earth. And Abraham knew that they were not accepted before the Lord to go with them. And Abraham said to them, Abide here with the donkey, while my son Isaac and I will go to the mount and worship that before the Lord and return to you. O Eliezer and Ishmael remained in the place of Abraham had commanded. And Abraham took wood for a burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac. And he took the fire and the knife, and they both went. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. My neighbor's cat. God bless you. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. He's a stubborn cat. He heard me, so he wants to be out here with me. No, sir. Oh, Lord, I lost my spot. I'm just going to start from 50 again. And when they were going along, Isaac said to his father, Behold, I see fire and wood here, and where then the lamb that is to be burnt offering before the Lord? And Abraham answered his son Isaac, saying, The Lord has made a choice of you, my son, to be perfect burnt offering instead of the lamb. And Isaac said to his father, I will do all that the Lord spoke to you with joy and cheerfulness of the heart. And Abraham again said to his son Isaac, Is there any thought or counsel in your heart concerning this, which is not proper? Please tell me, my son. Oh, my son, do not conceal it from me. And Isaac answered his father Abraham and said to him, O my father, as the Lord lives and your soul lives, there is nothing in my heart to cause me to deviate either to the right or to the left from the word that he has spoken to you. Neither limb nor muscle has spoken to you, has moved or stirred at this, nor is there any thought or evil counsel in my heart concerning this, but I am of joyful and cheerful heart in this matter. I say, Blessed is the Lord who has chosen me to be a burnt offering before him this day. And Abraham greatly rejoiced at the words of Isaac. They went on and came together on this place that the Lord has spoken of. Abraham approached to build the altar in that place, and Abraham was weeping. And Isaac took stones and mortar until they had finished building the altar. And Abraham took the wood and placed it in order on the altar which he had built. And he took his son Isaac in a band order to place him on the wood which was on the altar, to slay him for a burnt offering before the Lord. And Isaac said to his father, Bind me securely, and then place me on the altar, lest I should turn and move and break loose from the force of the knife on my flesh, thereof profane the burnt offering. And Abraham did so. Isaac still said to his father, O my father, when you will have slain me and burned me for an offering, take with you that which will remain of my ashes to bring to my mother Sarah. Say to her, This is the sweet-smelling savor of Isaac. But do not tell her this, if she should sit near a well or on any high place, lest she could cast her soul after me and die. And Abraham heard the words of Isaac, and he lifted up his voice and wept with Isaac, spoke these words. Abraham's tears gushed down on his son Isaac. Isaac wept bitterly, and he said to his father, Hasten you, O my father, and do with me the will of the Lord our God. He has commanded you. And the hearts of Abraham and Isaac rejoiced at this thing, which the Lord had commanded them. But the eye wept bitterly, while the heart rejoiced. And Abraham bound his son Isaac, and placed him on the altar of wood. And Isaac stretched out his neck on the altar before his father. And Abraham stretched out his hand to take the knife to slay his son as a burnt offering before the Lord. And at that time the messengers of mercy came before the Lord and spoke to him concerning Isaac, saying, O Lord, you are merciful and compassionate King over all that you have created in heaven and earth, and you supported them all. Therefore give ransom and redemption instead of your servant Isaac, and have pity and compassion on Abraham and his son Isaac, who are performing your commands this day. Have you seen, O Lord, how Isaac, the son of your servant Abraham, is bound down and slaughtered like an animal? Now therefore let your pity rouse for them, O Lord. And at this time the Lord appeared to Abraham and called to him from heaven, and said to him, Do not lay your hand on the youth, neither do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, in performing this act, and in not withholding your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw, behold, a ram was caught in the thicket of horns, and the ram which the Lord God had created in the earth that day. He had made earth and heaven, for the Lord had prepared this ram from that day to be a burnt offering instead of Isaac. And this ram was advancing to Abraham when Satan caught a hold of him and entangled his thorns in the thicket. He might not advance to Abraham in order that Abraham might slay his son. And Abraham, seeing the ram advancing him, and Satan withholding him, fetched him and brought him before the altar. And he loosened his son Isaac from his binding and put the ram in his stead. And Abraham killed the ram on the altar and brought it up as an offering in the place of his son Isaac. And Abraham sprinkled some of the blood of the ram on the altar, and he exclaimed and said, "This is in the place of my son, and may this be considered as the blood of my son before the Lord this day." And all that Abraham did on the occasion of the altar, he would exclaim and say, "This is the room of my son, and may it be considered before the Lord in the place of my son this day." Abraham finished the whole of the service by the altar, and services was accepted before the Lord, was accounted as if it had been Isaac. And the Lord blessed Abraham and his seed on that day. And Satan went to Sarah, and he appeared in the figure of a very humble and burnt offering before the Lord. He said to her, Do you not know all the work that Abraham has made with your only son on this day? For he took Isaac and built an altar and killed him, and brought him up as a sacrifice on the altar. Isaac cried and wept before his father. He did not look at him, neither did he have compassion over him. And Satan repeated these words, and he went away from her. Sarah heard all the words from Satan. She imagined him to be an old man from among the sons of men. Sorry. Who had been with her son and had come and told her these things. And Sarah lifted up her voice and wept and cried out bitterly on account of her son. And she threw herself on the ground, and she cast dust on her head, and she said, "O my son Isaac, oh, that I had died instead of you this day." And she continued to weep. It grieves me for you, O my son Isaac, oh, that I died in your stead this day. And she still continued to weep and said, "It grieves me for you after I have reared you and have brought you up. Now my joy is turned upon mourning over you. I that had a longing for you, and cried and prayed to God until I bore you at 90 years old. And now you have served this day for a knife in the fire to be made an offering. But I console myself with you, my son, and it's being the word of the Lord, for you perform the command of your God. For who can transgress the word of our God? And those in whose hands is the soul of every living creature. You are just, O Lord our God, for all your works are good and righteous. For I also rejoice with your word, which you commanded. And while my eye weeps bitterly, my heart rejoices. Even in the midst of her sorrow, she still rejoiced to God and thanked him. And my eye weeps bitterly, my heart rejoices. Crying, worshiping. And Sarah laid her head on the bosom of one of her handmaids, and she came as still as a stone. Afterward she rose up and went around making inquiries until she came to Hebron. And she inquired of all those whom she met walking on the road. No one could tell her what had happened to her son. And she had came with her maidservants and menservants to Kirjath-Araba, which is Hebron, and she asked concerning her son. She remained there while she sent some of her servants to seek where Abraham had gone with Isaac. They went to seek him in the house of Shem and Eber, and they could not find him. They sought throughout the land, he was not there. And behold, Satan came to Sarah in the shape of an old man, and he came and stood before her and said to her, I spoke falsely to you. For Abraham did not kill his son, and he is not dead. And when she heard the word of her joy was so exceedingly violent on her account and her sons, that her soul went out through the joy. She died. She was gathered to her people. And when Abraham had finished his service, he returned with his son Isaac to his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba. They came home, and Abraham sought for Sarah, could not find her. He made inquiries concerning her, and they said to him, She went as far as Hebron to seek you both where you had gone. For thus she was informed. And Isaac went to her to Hebron, and when they found that she was dead, they lifted up their voices and wept bitterly over her. And Isaac fell on his mother's face and wept over her, and he said, O my mother, have you left me? Where have you gone? Oh, how have you left me? And Abraham and Isaac wept greatly, and all their servants wept with them on account of Sarah, and they mourned a great and heavy mourning over her. It's really sad if you think about it, but it's sad and joyful at the same time. Gives us time to be able to have that same account with God and be able to have that same relationship with God, that even in the midst of mourning you can worship and know that God has a purpose for everything. Even when the devil tries to take whatever blessing or whatever purpose God is doing for you in your life and try to turn it for bad, God always turns it for good, just like the ram. All right, y'all, I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of the evening. May God bless you and keep you, and may his face shine upon you always.